respect for the rules. Now, as a high school official, I get to help model these same values to others. Maybe the colleges and the pros didn't call, but the kids in Texas did. And now, I'm enjoying the competition, the camaraderie, the bands, the crowds, and all the pageantry of high school sports all over again.
This message presented by the Texas University Interscholastic League and the Texas High School Athletic Directors Association.
News Radio 690 KTSM.
Live from the KTSM AM 690 studios, it's Talk El Paso with Andrew J. Polk. Be a part of the show by calling 915-544-KTSM, 915-544-5876, or comment online on our stream at facebook.com/Talk El Paso. It's 4 p.m. Mountain Time, and that means it's time to talk El Paso with Andrew J. Polk.
Thank you all so very much for joining us here for Talk El Paso, airing live on News Radio 690 KTSM. I am your host, Andrew J. Polk. Thank you for tuning in, however you may be doing so, be it on air, online, live, streaming through the free and reliable iHeartRadio app, or joining us over on the various social media pages we're up on these days, facebook.com/Talk El Paso, the Talk El Paso channel over on YouTube, Twitter at Talk El Paso, or twitch.tv, Andrew J. Polk. However, you may be able to do so, be it, and I believe, knock on various forms of wood here, that everything is up and running correctly, and that we're not doing any mirror universes, any inverses, and no backwards talking, yeah, and you're ready as the devil. Nothing like that going on here right now, I'm assuming, hoping, because we got a lot to go into today, because, yes, it is, of course, Talk El Paso, talking about the things going on and affecting us here in the borderland, because no one else is going to have that discussion the way we do. But then, of course, Friday is, as has already been, the salutations and celebrations beginning with Ida Beza Gardner over there in the comments. Happy Free-for-All Friday. Yes, indeedy. We have made it through yet another week, and it's been another banner one, y'all. And so there's a lot to get into, a lot of stuff that has happened right here, but of course for Free-for-All Friday, meaning that we're going to get into, well, just about everything we can. Okay, apparently, because we have to this week, maybe a bit more of a prohibition on fictional universes, because there's plenty going on in this one, y'all. I just have to put it that way, because, yeah, there's a whole lot. So we open up the floodgates, take the gloves off. Metaphorically, don't actually be throwing punches here, anyone, because, like, we're talking about things. Because there's a ton that has gone on, and if we just had the local focus, I mean, we never quite get to everything. Hope you all did make your donations for El Paso Giving Day, but also don't let it just be the one day a year that you do give out, and I'm sure there's plenty of charitable folks out there, but also there's been a lot of uncharitable actions, arguably, happening across the country, around the world, nation, etc. So let's get into some of those, including, I mean, just one thing locally, that finally all lanes open after a huge crash that happened, I want to say in the midst of our show yesterday, near I-10 and Trans Mountain. One person was seriously injured after, I dare say, a 18-wheeler like crumpled or on its side. So there's a lot that was going on there. And then, of course, nationally, we've got, okay, still no Speaker of the House, y'all. And now it's kind of turning into a bit more of a free-for-all. The favorite headline I saw about this was from The Hill, actually. Floodgates open. Here's who running for Speaker as GOP seeks third nominee after Jim Jordan apparently bows out after seeing that. Well, maybe he wasn't wanting to get to, what did it take for the first one there? Like 15? Was that the ballots? That's what sticks in my mind. It was in the teens, I'm pretty sure, at the very least. So that's going swimmingly, but otherwise a ton of other things going on as issues surrounding immigration, border security, even the weather in our area still coming up here. So, of course, what we're due to get into all of this and more in between, because, yeah, no topic is off limits. But again, let's just, I ask for a reality check focused kind of thing here today, because there are plenty of other programs for debating the merits of fictional universes. And, well, we're still on News Radio 690 KTSM. Okay, RJ confirming, yeah, it was 15 for the previous Speaker of the House. So I guess no one, Jim Jordan not wanting to go for the gusto for that brass ring. Not that I can necessarily blame him, but in any case, a lot more coming in, including also Sean Gardner, if I didn't say that one already. Happy Friday, y'all. And, okay, RJ putting it pretty well, because we actually have been bringing you over on our sister station, Fox Sports 1380. This is how much of a not sports nerds I am. The ALCS, someone, if I said that one wrong, forgive me on that one. Just handle making sure it goes on air. But yeah, 3 and out during baseball playoffs when it comes to speaker ballots. I do have to say that we have been mentioning that there have been some local or statewide, I guess, impact on that whole race overall, including pretty consistently Texas representatives or representatives from Texas for the national legislature, Kay Granger, Tony Gonzalez, and Jay Elsley. And, of course, Tony Gonzalez from the Texas 23rd Congressional District, firmly in El Paso County, at least from the most recent redistricting. And so, yeah, that's definitely something right in our area in its own right, being some of the biggest, I guess, anti-Jim Jordan stands. Might be a way to put it. Anyway, that's just a smattering of issues coming up right now. But, of course, we want to hear from y'all. So the way we do it is we're taking your phone calls throughout the both hours of the show here, as much as we've already gotten a minute into this one. So if you want to get on that line, there are lines available if you're quick about it. Probably going to be pretty full up today just because that's how it works on Friday since we take those calls. So that number to do so, 915-544-5876, 915-544-KTSM. Should be able to see the number there on screen for those of you over on the social media here today with some other predictions, including John Browselton saying maybe limp-wristed Patrick Henry can become the speaker. Your guess is, frankly, is as good as mine at this point. I mean, there's at least 3 front runners, though. Okay, I know that floodgates is one analogy. Blood in the water would be maybe another one that I would more subscribe to, because it's not so much a everyone go for it. It's a, oh, there's the potential and, political feeding frenzy. I don't know. Maybe that one doesn't totally work either, but it seems a bit more apt for just how messy this could get. So I guess it depends on what kind of floodgates you're talking about in that analogy. Anyway, let's get to those phone lines now. Again, 915-544-5876, 544-KTSM. We do have Andrew on the west side here with us right now. Andrew, thanks for joining us.
Yes, Andrew. Thank you, and happy Friday.
Happy Friday to you as well. What's on your mind?
Turning our attention to the Middle East,
certainly.
especially Israel.
Absolutely. I mean, I was talking about some of the national politics because those are some of the updates, but that is absolutely been one of the major ones that has been percolating through all of this. And, of course, it's the subject of that White House Oval Office address, actually, specifically from President Biden last night.
Yes, correct. Well, the Israeli Security Agency, which is pretty much like it's a national police force over there. Mm-hmm. But reading yesterday, the number of applications for personal weapons, in other words, to get a license for a personal weapon, has been recently over 100,000.
I can't say I'm particularly surprised, though. That's not stats I've been paying attention to because, I mean, sure, there are some very different standpoints when it comes to both national security and, like, personal responsibility when it comes to the state of Israel. When we're talking about that, I mean, they do have compulsory service, which is, I mean, it is required for everyone, but there is even consternation over there about this, despite given the cursory look at the history of the modern state of Israel being one of, I mean, we talk about it primarily in terms of conflict, right? I mean, there have been time periods, different administrations you can go through, but I mean, one of the most common ways you talk about, the Yom Kippur War, you talk about the Six-Day War, you talk about, what happened in the late 1940s in the creation of the state, and now this one will be the Intifadas, now this. So, I mean, they do it so that there is people who, well, everyone, except there are some religious minorities within the country that even still oppose that kind of thing, but that's the way they go about it. So I've often seen pictures online of people just kind of out and about with, say, not exactly AR-15s, but the Israelis make their own models, but that kind of weapon just on their backs. Now, notably, in those pictures that people often circulate about, they'll notice that there is no magazine inserted in that because they are required to have it with them, either as reservists or whatever their service status is. They are not necessarily fully, completely armed, but kind of ready at a moment's notice, kind of almost not quite, but a Minuteman concept, but don't read too far into that. But yes, the personal weapon accessibility is also handled very differently over there.
Correct, and you do have to have a need for it, according to the Israeli Security Service. But that's pretty much being waived, and now they're allowing you to have double the amount of ammunition in your possession. Instead of 50, you can now have 100 rounds of ammo.
And that's, again, they have like storage requirements that are, again, very different from the way. So I know a lot of people make allusions to, well, how does it work over there versus how it is in the U.S.? And it is super not apples to apples is the best way I can think to at least immediately describe it. But it almost seems like they're having their, begin of the Ukraine war moment of oh, shoot, we need just people ready, because okay, Israeli security forces, both in terms of the military and the civilian side of things, like you were describing, have pretty well been geared towards response at any place at any time. Again, as much as I'm intrigued to go and visit the Holy Land, see the sites, the history there, I'm not sure that even before this point that would have been something that I would have been just really gung-ho about, yes, let's do it, because of learning of the way that basically life works there, either on either side. We're talking about, Israel, West Bank, Gaza Strip, the fact that bomb shelters are a part of not even just public buildings. You go around El Paso and the Sun Bowl still has its fallout shelter signs on it that haven't been updated in a while, I don't think, but those exist. That's in basically not the fallout shelter, but the bomb shelter aspect in pretty much every home and most, if not all, public places there, because of the way and what has been effectively the status quo even before this. So there definitely is again a lot of different standpoints on how things even at their very basic level work in that region.
True. Well, and then I see El Paso County going for this gun buyback program, and then I see the Israelis, what they're going through. Well, can't help but thinking, are some of those guns that we left in Afghanistan being used against our allies in Israel?
Yeah, that's an interesting line you're bringing. I have seen some commentary online about, where did all of these American-looking style rifles come from, and have been seen in some of these things. So, it's a decent question to be asked, even if traceability. I'm not assuming that there's a lot of serial numbers being able to be checked from that standpoint here. So, honestly, your guess is as good as mine, though it is open to speculation given the way that home boondoggle went down during that withdrawal, and why. I'm just going to put this broadly here, that the U.S. policy of spreading out arms is maybe not the best policy the way we do it sometimes. Now, of course, we've been long supporters in terms of various subsequent administrations of providing arms and support to Israel, but when it comes to, well, particularly Afghanistan, actually, a few different times we've been doing this now, or at least a couple, technically, of providing arms that then come back to bite us in the butt, though that region overall comes to mind. Let's just name a few here. Iraq previously, Syria, a few others there. So, yeah, I'm just saying that maybe we'll provide you arms and you'll use them the right way, right? And you'll never point them at us. That last part maybe falling a little bit flat. The signature gets a little bit smudged there, right? When it seems to the certification that whoever we're giving it to won't do that.
Correct. Now, as for visiting the Holy Land, well, I'm not brave enough to do that. Even though I do know a few of my friends, well, two of them are deceased who were special forces that would probably have the courage to even vacation in Beirut. But no, I don't intend to travel overseas at any time.
I'll be honest with you. We had some family conversations even before some of those recent major events I've been experiencing here of family history traces us back to, the British Isles, parts of Europe, and have wanted to do some visits over there before certain people are no longer able to travel, that kind of thing, getting a little bit too unable to make those kind of trips. And we were considering, particularly Scotland, back in, what was that, February of 2022, and we started looking at that and looking at the options, and then other events came up, and we started thinking, you know what, going overseas to a different continent in which one of the biggest land wars to have occurred since World War II is happening right now, maybe that's not a good idea right now. So, I have appreciated the international travels I've been able to do, but yeah, right now I'm I don't know if there's an insurance level when it comes to that kind of a trip that I'd be like, yeah, that'll be enough for that type of circumstance.
Very true. Well, not something that I'm going to do anytime soon. But anyway, Andrew, I turn the mic back over to you. Please have a good weekend.
Yeah, you as well. Do appreciate the point in the call. You have a good one there as well.
Very well. well.
And with that, we're going to take that next break right now. Coming out of this break, we'll get to more of the calls, more of the comments, more of everything, including some in other things that I'll be able to paraphrase at the very least, but pop up on screen with the comments that everything should be showing up right. RJ putting it again ever so gently of, we're no longer in selfie mode this week. So again, monkeys, wrenches, and the monkeys with the wrenches are being dealt with in all of the technical aspects. But hey, we've been up on radio pretty much the whole time, if not for anyone going out of signal range. So we'll keep doing the things we're doing, and we got to take that next break right now. So, of course, you are tuned in to Talk El Paso, airing live on News Radio 690 KTSM. I am your host, Andrew J. Polk. Phone lines open if, they just filled up, but keep it in mind, when one call ends, a line becomes available. 915-544-5876, 544 KTSM. Back after this break with more Talk El Paso here on News Radio 690 KTSM. Stay tuned. Hammer and Nails is going to be my next appointment that I'll be making to get my hair, beard, and, a couple other services I'm considering when it comes to that, because when it comes to men's grooming and just looking and feeling good, Hammer and Nails is one of El Paso's newest options to get that done right every time. They're the, of course, official hair and beard sponsors of the show, and with their premium cut beard grooming services, they've even got a whole lot of other ones, including essential tea tree procedures, sports pedicure, and even hair and beard camo services. They've got their memberships starting at just $72 a month, meaning that you can get in there, get your services, get guaranteed, and some of the best service around, including being met right at the front door with your favorite drink, cocktail, or brew of choice. I opt for the coffee, but if you want to turn into an Irish coffee, if you've got that kind of thing going on, they've got the ability to do so. So, when it comes to that, you got to find them, of course, online to make your appointment at hammerandnailsgrooming.com. That's hammerandnailsgrooming.com, or just give them a call, 915-975-5911. That's 915-975-5911, and make your next appointment just like I will, and I'll see you there at Hammer and Nails Grooming.
News Radio 690. Traffic all day.
Got some good news for travelers on the I-10 at Trans Mountain. Back open in both directions, east and westbound. The 10 is back open. I-10 delays, not too bad, 6 minutes long between Vinton and Red. Southbound on the loop in the lower valley at the 10 Gateway, an accident's blocking the left interchange ramp. El Paso fires on the scene of a possible accident. Southbound Bob Hope on-ramp to Loop 375. Carrie Edwards, El Paso traffic.
These days, high prices are forcing Americans to make hard decisions.
Do I buy the toothpaste or the toilet paper?
We have a better way. Inflation compensation. $1,000 price bustin' prize. Be listening for your shot to win a grand.
Inflation compensation on News Radio 690 AM is brought to you by Mazer Security Systems, providing El Pasoans state-of-the-art protection and peace of mind for more than 30 years.
This report is sponsored by Albertsons and Safeway. Save with digital coupons at Albertsons and Safeway. This week at Albertsons and Safeway, get value packs of boneless petite sirloin steak for $3.99 per pound with digital coupon. First 2 packages. And avocados for just 59 cents each. First 4 with digital coupon.
Hi, this is Mike with the Good Feet Store. Are you suffering with foot pain and nothing you've tried has helped? This is Dr. Spielvogel, one of the Good Feet Store's medical advisors.
A majority of people will definitely have some type of a foot problem over a period of their lifetime. I'm Dr. William Spielvogel, Chief Division of Podiatry, Lenox Hill Hospital, Northwell Health.
Let's hear what Dr. Spielvogel has to say about Good Feet Arch Support.
The benefits of Good Feet Arch Supports are numerous, including pain relief, more comfort, better balance, improved performance, injury prevention, and overall superior functionality. And that's the beauty of the Good Feet Arch Support System.
See what Good Feet Arch Supports can do for you. Visit the Good Feet Store today for a free fitting and test walk. You've got nothing to lose except your pain.
Thanks to the Good Feet Store.
Visit the Good Feet Store today on Airway Boulevard at I-10.
With an open channel,
I guess just try to keep channels open.
we welcome open-minded individuals
I try to keep an open mind to all issues.
with open arms
I think we need to always have our eyes open.
for open conversation. And when you open the iHeartRadio app, you open a whole new world. Wherever you are.
What should America do about immigration crisis?
I guess open the borders, but at the same time, check everyone that's coming in.
Open the gates.
A free download in the App Store or at kcsmradio.com.
Hammer and Nails, El Paso's newest men's grooming destination with your comfort and privacy in mind, and where your favorite brew, spirit, or mixed drink will be waiting for you along with every cut, shave, manicure, or pedicure visit. Open daily at the fountains at Farrah, Hammer and Nails offers world-class luxury experiences without the pretentious price tag. Visit Hammer and Nails Grooming Shop for Guys online at hammerandnailsgrooming.com to book your next experience. That's hammerandnailsgrooming.com.
Jesse Kelly here. Do you feel protected? My personal protection plan is owning gold. The Oxford Gold Group helps you buy gold to have on hand or convert it into your 401k. If things get weird, I have gold on hand. I like that. You can buy coins or convert part of your 401k with the Oxford Gold Group. It's easy and safe. 833-995-GOLD. That's 833-995-GOLD. 833-995-GOLD.
Most of the time, traffic is pretty good. But there are times when traffic can be pretty bad. No, I mean like really bad. Almost, but more like an asteroid's gonna hit the city and everyone's trying to get out of town at once and nobody's car is moving and people are running down the highway clutching their kids and whatever belongings they can grab. Yep, now you got it. It's times like these you need your severe traffic station. Traffic and weather all day. Stay informed with El Paso's News Radio 690 KTSM. News Radio 690 KTSM El Paso.
Live from the KTSM AM 690 studios, it's Talk El Paso with Andrew J. Polk. To be a part of the show, follow on Facebook at facebook.com/Talk El Paso. Now here's your host, Andrew J. Polk.
Thank you all so very much for joining us here for Talk El Paso, airing live on News Radio 690 KTSM. I am your host, Andrew J. Polk. Thank you for tuning in, however you may be doing so, be it on air, online, live, streaming through the free and reliable iHeartRadio app, or joining us over on the various social media pages we're up on these days, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch.tv, either under Talk El Paso or Andrew J. Polk. A lot of conversation going on, a lot of people tuning in, chiming in, joining us over on the social media, including dropping those likes and reacts that we do appreciate, including RJ, Monica Cervantes, Robbie Flores, and Ida Beza Gardner. And it's all letting us know that everything looks good today, Patriot Chick, and that, no longer in selfie mode. No longer looking at the man in the mirror, just the man in the camera, which is a weird experience in its own right, but I guess I'm used to it at this point. But if you want to get on the line, add your 2 cents. Comments work out pretty well, even if we also have some people already chilling with the booze. I guess it is Friday, even if I'm just into the workday here myself here. But in any case, you want to get on the line? Line's full up at the moment, but keep that number handy. 915-544-5876. 544-KTSM is the number to call. And we'll be getting into as many of those as we can cram into both hours of the show here today. So let's dive straight back into that, as, a lot of the other conversation going on, including certain allusions that I'm not quite sure I can put up on screen, but allusions to King Midas turning things to gold, parts of this administration turning things into something you'd flush, let's just put it that way, and other commentary, including our RJ, when referring to, May 14, 1948, Israel was born and was attacked by surrounding nations next day and several times since. Basically what I was alluding to there as well. It was pretty sure it was 1948, but it wasn't, hadn't looked up that date recently. And in any case, the history of conflict, again, there's a reason that a phrase has existed my entire life of peace in the Middle East, and that's, one part that is interesting to me, the way that this has been developing, besides, of course, the conflict part of this with the now war that has been declared after the attack in these recent weeks, is that of the schism, the rift over the idea of a ceasefire. Now, objectively, an idea of having belligerents stop would sound like a good thing, but the politics that are developing around it have been interesting, in this country at the very least, to say the least, because there almost seems to be an implication that more supports the, at least for this current circumstance, the initial belligerence, the attack done by Hamas, and therefore that side of things, which is interesting to me, because you would think that having all shooting stop would be one thing. I mean, if one side doesn't intend to, that's a different situation. But, this is continuing to evolve as still looking at, and the strong possibility still seeming like of there being that ground assault in Gaza. But anyway, let's go back to those phone lines now. Again, 915-544-5876, 544-KTSM. We do have Raul in the Northeastern line with us here right now. Raul, thanks for joining us.
Hey, Andrew.
Hey there.
Well, this is a great week for the Trump resistance. A second Trump lawyer, Cheeseborough, pleaded guilty and has agreed to testify in future court proceedings, just like Release the Kraken Sidney Powell did earlier in the week. So that makes two. This really puts a lot of pressure. According to the attorneys that I listen to, the legal experts that I listen to, the former prosecutors, law professors that I listen to, are saying that this is really, really bad news for Donald Trump. And for the co-defendants who now have a lot of pressure on flipping themselves, because apparently the longer you wait to flip after people initially flip, the less good deal you get. In other words, it gets to be worse for you. Do more jail time, in other words, I guess. They say that these people would rather drop the dime than do the time. Yes, this was a great week for all Americans wanting Trump to be held accountable and going down. The 81 million Americans who voted him out of the presidency, the voters who turned control of the House over to the Democrats in 2018, who then went on to impeach Trump 2 times and criminally refer him to the Department of Justice, that appointed special counsel Jack Smith, who has indicted Trump over his failed coup and for pilfering secret documents to Maggot Local. You know, I am so glad that Joe Biden is president of the United States and not Donald Trump. America is infinitely better off today, especially what's going on around the world, you know, in Israel and in Ukraine, where Trump's buddy invaded a country, and where the Republicans, a segment of the Republicans, don't want to help Ukraine fend off this attack by Trump's dictator buddy, Vladimir Putin. You know, so I'm so glad that he's a president as opposed to Trump, who was in love with dictators, with Putin, with Kim, with Bolsonaro, with people like that. You know, that's who he looks up to. That's what he'd like to be. See, he tried it, but it failed, and now he's going to pay the price. And Andrew, if you think that he's not in really, really deep doo-doo, then you must be on the side of the delusional lemmings in Trump's cult.
I appreciate you trying to help me figure out what my positions are, but don't worry, there's no confusion on this part here. That there's no doubt that these are serious legal charges here, but you brought up some greatest hits. I know that that's something that you like talking about and going through here. So let's go through some of those greatest hits, and particularly how they turned out with the 2018 takeover of the House by Democrats, like you were referencing there, at least, you know, coming into power in that vein, and those impeachment efforts. Remind me, how did those turn out? Because he was removed from... No, he wasn't, actually, as a matter of fact. And with some of these previous legal challenges, I mean, they have been accumulating. And, I mean, I think that the former president's face during the progression of these proceedings has been story enough about how Pete thinks about them in the meantime here. But also remind me, when was it that invasion of Ukraine happened? Was it during the Trump administration, or was it the current administration? And also the issues that have come out here. So I'm not saying I'm totally on board with this would never have happened under Trump or any of those kind of things, because, I mean, that's not even crystal ball territory. That's looking into alternate history at this point. But still, I mean, I get it. You don't want this guy, the former president, to be anywhere in public life anymore, which just, okay, I'm never liking to be in the position, I don't particularly feel that I am here, but maybe a little bit closer than I'm comfortable with, of defending any politician because they got more than enough hot air to do that themselves here. Just keep in mind that when it comes to a presidential election, that even if these court cases go through, I mean, I know some of them are seeking to, particularly when it comes to the election interference charges, those kind of things, disqualify him, at least from the state ballot. To my understanding, most of the things that are being talked about there is making it so that it would not prohibit him from being able to be on the ballot again. So even if he's, I mean, the analysis that I've seen is that even if he happens to be in jail at the time, he could still ascend to the presidency if the American people decide in that direction. Now, was that going to be possible or not? We've had stranger times in this country, but I would hard pressed within living memory to think much more about that. So, again, I get it. You are not a huge fan of the former president. But if you're just wanting to say that, well, all this stuff means he's going to go away forever, okay, let's just talk about, as you often do, the personality of the former president. Have you known him to be anything besides particularly stubborn when it comes to, well, this is what I said I'm going to do, and I'm going to do it. Take that in any way you want, positive, negative, anywhere in between. But let's just say the whole never really apologize and, well, damn it, I'm going to do it. Because, okay, for almost any other person, if you had told me that this was going to be the situation we were going to be in when it came to the 2020s, I would have said, that sounds far-fetched. But we are in this situation. And given the fact that for most other politicians, let's just put it that way, most would have had, when the amount of political heat on it, on them and on the organization anywhere near this. I mean, again, we've seen major political campaigns wrecked for way less than this is. And yet it still does continue on because, A, this is a completely different political animal when it comes back to the very basic mention and the very basic idea of how this campaign and continuing campaign, it's obviously been, I would argue, pretty much the same campaign since 2016. But to say that he's just going to, well, this will make him go away forever, the more pressure. Again, in your experience, has there really been anything that has been pressure on this former president that has led him to say, okay, yeah, I'll gracefully bow out or anything like that? Again, most other politicians would have said, like, you know what, I'll retire, be a kingmaker, wield my influence that way. And that is super not in my reading of the personality of the former president here, I gotta say. So, again, if you're not liking him, I'm not going to say that you should relinquish your presidency of the Donald J. Trump fan club, but I'm not thinking it's going to be dissipated anytime soon. Let's just put it that way. So appreciate the point and the call and the crowing about it, but time will tell, and we will see. But in any case, let's take that next break right now. Overdue for it. Actually got to get back on track here. So getting into those next set of calls here, and again, getting back to the phone lines after this break. Again, if you want to get on there, if you're Johnny on the spot and quick with the finger, 915-544-5876, 915-544-KTSM. Back after this break with more Talk El Paso here on News Radio 690 KTSM. Stay tuned.
El Paso's News Radio 690 KTSM.
With your KFOX 14 News Update, I'm Liz Dewicki. After about 3 hours of jury deliberations, the man accused of killing an El Paso attorney has been found guilty. The El Paso Times reporting Joseph Alvarez was convicted this afternoon of murder and aggravated assault in the 2020 shooting of Georgette Kaufman outside her home. He's also accused of hurting her husband during that incident. Throughout the trial, state prosecutors claim that Alvarez targeted the couple because of his radicalized beliefs. However, Alvarez's defense said he suffers from a mental illness that led to the incident. He's facing up to 99 years in prison. Some lanes are now open on I-10 East and West at Trans Mountain after a serious crash Thursday afternoon. Trans Mountain is open and North Desert Boulevard is also open. The crash involving 2 semi-trucks and several other vehicles. Officials saying 2 people were taken to the hospital, one with serious injuries and the other with minor injuries. The semi-trucks were removed Friday morning. KFOX 14 looking for answers right now after a local bridal shop suddenly closed without getting customers the dresses that they already paid money for. Posh Bridal, located at the Fountains of Farah, has a sign on the front door from the landlord stating that rent was not paid. KFOX also spoke to the Better Business Bureau of El Paso, confirming 5 complaints have been filed so far against the shop. The BBB recommends filing a police report as well as an incident report with the Texas Attorney General's office and the El Paso County Attorney's office. Posh Bridal's sister store in Phoenix, Arizona, has also reportedly shut its doors. With your KFOX 14 News Update, I'm Liz Dewicki.
Traffic all day. News Radio 690.
All lanes back open on the I-10 East and westbound at Trans Mountain from the serious crash from yesterday. Looking at 5-minute delays, I-10 eastbound from Vinton down to Red. Only thing still closed is the I-10 south to north turnaround ramp on Trans Mountain. That's going to remain closed through the weekend. Southbound on the loop in the lower valley at the 10 Gateway, an accident has the left interchange ramp blocked. Carrie Edwards, El Paso traffic.
From the KFOX 14 Severe Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Brad Montgomery. Another hot one for our Friday afternoon. We're looking at a high around 90 degrees. That could break the record of 89 set back in 2020. We'll be close on Saturday, mostly cloudy, high around 89. On Saturday, the record is 90, also set in 2020. For your Sunday, partly cloudy skies, not quite as hot during the afternoon, with a high around 87. From the KFOX 14 Severe Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Brad Montgomery.
This report is sponsored by Albertsons and Safeway. Save with digital coupons at Albertsons and Safeway. This week at Albertsons and Safeway, get value packs of boneless petite sirloin steak for $3.99 per pound with digital coupon. First 2 packages. And avocados for just 59 cents each. First 4 with digital coupon.
Is your old car really scary? Does it smell dreadful? And run awful?
Wake up! El Paso, the nightmare is over. Ivan Ochoa, General Manager of Sunland Park, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, Fiat. We'll take your scary old trade, even if you owe thousands more than what it's worth. So you can upgrade to a new or certified pre-owned vehicle for less.
Plus, during Ram Power Days, get 0% APR for 72 months on 2023 Ram 1500 Lone Star Bighorn Crew Cab trucks. 2023 Jeep Gladiator trucks and Jeep Grand Cherokee take 10% off MSRP and $3,500 off MSRP on 2023 Dodge Charger and Challenger. Worried that your credit will make your car buying scary? Sunland Park Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, Fiat has partnered with even more lenders that will push to approve your credit, even if your credit is less than perfect. Save thousands in only minutes at Sunland Park Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, Fiat, where buying a car is fun. At I-10 at Sunland Park Drive or online at sunlandparkdodge.com. $13.89 per thousand finance includes factory rebate and dealer discount plus TTNL on select vehicles with approved credit. Offers not combined.
Your family and livelihood safe with Mazer Security Alarms. Systems start at under $35 per month. No job is too small or too large. For your free quote or to upgrade your existing system, call Mazer Security Alarms at 915-590-0033.
Save with digital coupons at Albertsons and Safeway. This week at Albertsons and Safeway, get value packs of boneless petite sirloin steak for $3.99 per pound with digital coupon. First 2 packages. And avocados for just 59 cents each. First 4 with digital coupon. This report is sponsored by Albertsons and Safeway.
El Paso's News Radio 690 KTSM.
Live from the KTSM AM 690 studios, it's Talk El Paso with Andrew J. Polk. To be a part of the show, call 915-544-KTSM or follow on Facebook at facebook.com/Talk El Paso. Now here's your host, Andrew J. Polk.
Thank you all so very much for joining us here for Talk El Paso, airing live on News Radio 690 KTSM. I'm your host, Andrew J. Polk. Thank you for tuning in, however you may be doing so, be it on air, online, live, streaming through the free and reliable iHeartRadio app, or joining us over on the various social media pages we're up on these days, facebook.com/Talk El Paso, the Talk El Paso channel over on YouTube, Twitter at Talk El Paso, or twitch.tv, Andrew J. Polk. A lot of conversation, a lot of things going on here, and a lot of work on those numbers there. Louis Pinato, only thing we're taking one call. We've got the phone lines open there. If you want to call in, well, you got to be quicker on the phone than that. But in any case, get into the phone calls that we can. Again, that number to do so, 915-544-5876, 544-KTSM is the number to call. And so diving straight back into those phone lines now. And again, doing that throughout the rest of the show here. But a lot of conversation about plans. Afghanistan coming up here, as was brought up by a different caller as well. So, but let's get right back into that. We do have Marco in Central on the line with us here right now. Marco, thanks for joining us.
How's it going, Andrew?
Doing all right there. What's on your mind?
Give me a second real quick.
Yeah, okay.
All right. I was doing some stuff. Sorry, I'm working, people in El Paso. Busy things going on.
Fair enough.
But I wanted to talk to you about some things that Raul said today, and I found it kind of funny. He says he's grateful that Joe Biden's our president. You know, yes. Seymour Hersh wrote a great article how Russia basically won the war in Ukraine. So we're just funding it. This is now, it's not even a proxy war. We're literally just sending money to Ukraine. And by the way, anybody who's curious of when this started during the Maidan Revolution. Yeah. In the Obama administration. So this is when this all started.
Okay? That's true. Mm-hmm.
The Biden administration had a press conference where they were talking about gain-of-function research, and where gain-of-function research was going to be done, and there were some universities, which he mentioned in the United States, and then he also mentioned some places overseas. And so he did mention, actually, if you go back and look at it, it's always funny how they talk about these things, and then they expect you to just forget them because of time and between the time of the conversation now and then. And so one of the places in Europe where they were putting those biolabs was in Ukraine. And so Russia had no problem at that moment. It's the incursion and the insistence of Ukraine joining NATO. And then the final straw why Russia basically attacked Ukraine was that the United States was leveraging the SWIFT, okay, I'm not saying Swiss, SWIFT banking system, which is BlackRock. And so also yesterday, you know, I hate picking on him, but it's just he says these things that are not factually true. So, I mean, he sounded like Jim Cramer yesterday, like, why don't you go buy stocks in Enron and go buy stocks in XTF? Like, why would he want to do those things? Yeah, the stock market might be in a high, but it's an artificial high. And when you have people like Jamie Dimon coming out and saying, you know, we have over-leveraged the money in the United States. We have printed so much money that in paper it seems good, but in practice, where people are living on the street and actually experiencing the economy is not returning to the people. And so to sit here and be like, oh, well, look at the highs over here. I'm like, okay, whatever, Silver Spoon over there. You sound like Thurston Howell III over there, okay? You're an investor. You're an entrepreneur. You're a Renaissance man. Like, I'm like, man, what are you doing calling Talk El Paso? Go hang out with Buffett and George Soros, because obviously that's who would be that would be more suited to you, those people. But let's also go back and see what's going on around the world because of the failed policies of Joe Biden. Here, Afghanistan. Half the world now is being funded and armed by who? Afghanistan. Look at the Taliban now, as they not only have the United States basically legitimized the Taliban, armed the Taliban, and gave them a standing army. So if you look at the Taliban militia, it's not they don't call it the Taliban militia. It is the Taliban Standing People's Army now, and they look legit. That's pathetic. That is truly pathetic. I understand that, you know, Obama liked to call ISIS the JV team as they rolled into all these places in Toyota trucks and black sneakers, Cortez, and they look like some reject terrorist organization out of a cartoon. And now they said, no, we're not going to look like that anymore. We're legit. And they're driving American Humvees, American vehicles. They're armed to the teeth with American weaponry. And there's no repercussions for that. Who's paying for that? Is Joe Biden on the hook for that? Is Milley on the hook for that? That should let everybody know in America. And I said, and I'm not going to keep saying it until I'm blue in the face. We are being run by the most degenerate class of politician. And you know what? I'm even going to say it. There are scummy Republicans out there. And I'm talking scummy Republicans. If you can't find it in this moment, when not even, you know, screw the world. I'm just saying your constituents are saying, hey, we don't mind Jim Jordan being the speaker. And these guys are like, nah, we're not going to do that. We want a pound of flesh. And a couple of those Republicans are at the White House bowling with Joe Biden. I'm like, that tells you everything there is to know. The uniparty exists. So what's it really matter if you're a Democrat or Republican? This is why I'm so grateful that this is a nonpartisan, because it just pisses me off when you see stupid politicians like that, Republicans, Democrats. They honestly, I don't think they give a damn about you and me. And they obviously don't look at people look at places like Chicago, look at places like St. Louis, look at places like Portland. I mean, how can you be the president of the United States and some of your cities are complete assholes? It's beyond me.
I'll say it this way, that when it comes to, the paying attention and they're working on the political theater or not in Washington, I think that's been one of the stories of this year. And it's not certainly by any means solely in this year, but I mean, they hold, again, 15 votes for the previous Speaker of the House, the circus around the 3 so far, and now the 3-ring circus that's beginning to unfold when it comes to whoever might be. I will kind of be frankly surprised if we have a full and actually able to do anything Speaker of the House by the end of this year. I'm going to be a little bit surprised at this point if that happens. And you can see that it's a little bit, I don't know, a little bit of a what is the job of politicians getting into? What are they supposed to be doing in Congress? I mean, we've got some very important things, including these funding bills that have been talked about, the general budgets, the ability to fund, say, national security, national defense, the troops, other major important national programs that, I mean, sure, there are some who say explicitly, hey, you can't, we don't want this to happen, so we're fine with the shutdown. But I think this comes down to more than anything that compromise is considered a four-letter word a lot of times in D.C. this time, because more specifically, the idea of it's our way or the highway has kind of taken over. It does, I mean, arguably this has been going on for a couple of decades at this point, but the inability to figure out, okay, how to achieve your goals while still achieving others, because if if the logic is coming down to it's not that I win, it's that you lose, then that's non-functional logic. That's lawsuit logic, and not the kind of thing that allows actually for the national business to get done.
Well, unfortunately, brother, this is exactly why we are in the state of this world. Let me put it to you this way, guys. I hate talking like this on Friday, but it needs to be said. They no longer keep track of the minutes till midnight on the clock at the point of nuclear war. We are talking now in milliseconds because, see, the concept of minutes before 12 o'clock to avoid nuclear war was that you had 20, 15. There were points where there were like a minute or two. But nothing like now. They don't even keep track of it anymore. But in all honesty, it's seconds now. When you have Russia openly saying you interfere in our daily function. See, here's the thing, man. I love America. I love my country, but I love the people more than the politicians itself. When I decided to run for mayor, I said I'm going to take a different route. The thing that the Republicans and Democrats both do is that they tie your hands in a way that they limit how long you can actually campaign, because they want it to be a personality, they don't want the substance. This is why I said I'm going to go a different route. And in fact, I'm going to take a quick second and just let you guys, I'm going to let the cat out of the bag here, actually, the way I'm running my campaign. I figured something out about people in general. And one of my favorite forums is, and you know this, I love wrestling. And people love winners, okay? And so what I decided to do was part and parcel. I took your show as the forum. You are WWE, okay? And I look at every person that comes on this show as a wrestler. And so when I am on your segment and you grant me this time, it's a promo for me. I have to give El Pasoans the best promo I can to let them know what my intentions are, who my enemies are, all that. I have to lay it all out. I'm building a character for people in El Paso. But the best part about it is that I don't have to deviate or pretend on this character, because the character is me, Marco Antonio Contreras. And so I'm selling people something. And I hate to make it sound like that, but that is effectiveness, because you tap into the emotions of people. And when you speak truth to power and lay it all out, people like that. And so I'm in a position right now, and I see the Uniparty and what they're doing, and I'm just fed up, because the people of America do not deserve a two-party system that is actually a one-party system. And now they're talking about doing parliamentary-style maneuvers where basically you build coalition governments, that means there's no real representation.
Tell you what, I mean, the idea of it and the whole uniparty conversation, and I wouldn't argue it goes that far, but that it's if the focus is only on staying in power, then that's all that ends up getting done. But tell you what, we got to take that next break right now because we're right at the top of the hour here. So I do appreciate the point in the call. You have a good one there, Marco.
Yeah, no problem, man. Just thank you. Everybody have a beautiful day. Marco for mayor.
All right, and with that, we got to take that break. So coming out of this break, we'll get to more calls on the line, more of the commentary, and more of a lot of questions going on over on the comments. We'll dip into those as well. So stay tuned. More Talk El Paso after this break. Again, that number, 915-544-5876, 544-KTSM. Back after this break with more Talk El Paso here on News Radio 690 KTSM. Stay tuned.
Traffic all day. News Radio 690.
Gateway North at McCombs, an earlier accident is off to the right. In the Lower Valley Gateway East at Americas Avenue, the right lane is blocked by a pedestrian. A little slow on the loop in the East Valley. Northbound on Loop 375 from the 10 to Montana, 5-minute delays. I-10 east and westbound is back open in both directions at Trans Mountain from yesterday's serious crash. And there's no delays. Carrie Edwards, El Paso traffic.
This report is sponsored by Blindster.com.
Hi, I'm Kyle at Blindster.com. Shopping for new blinds? At Blindster, we offer over 50 different blinds, shades, and shutters at low prices, custom made for your windows, and shipping is free. Shop at home and order 10 free samples of any product before you buy. Blindster.com.
Do you have an idea for an invention or new product and don't know what to do next? Inventors, InventHelp can help you get started with your idea. Call 1-800-INVENTION or go to inventhelp.com to get your free inventors information. They can help you try to patent your idea and submit it to companies. Get started with your idea today at inventhelp.com. InventHelp is the leading invention service company. With offices nationwide, they've been helping inventors since 1984. Inventors receive more than 10,000 patents through their patent referral services. Don't wait to get started with your idea. For free information, contact your friends at InventHelp. Go to inventhelp.com or call 1-800-INVENTION. That's inventhelp.com or call 1-800-INVENTION. They help everyday inventors just like you. Additional services include invention websites, prototype models, technical drawings, and more. They keep your idea confidential and explain every step of their invention services. Remember, that's inventhelp.com. InventHelp.com.
With local issues and discussion you won't get anywhere else, turn to Talk El Paso. Weekdays at 4 right here on News Radio 690 KTSM. Brought to you in part by the El Paso Community Foundation. Sound off on what matters to you, Monday through Friday, 4 to 6 p.m. And let's talk El Paso.
We can all do our part to stay safe on Texas roads. Always cross the street at intersections and crosswalks and wait for the walk signal. Stay alert and remember it's safest to look left, right, left before you cross. Be safe. Walk smart. A message from TxDOT.
Always just minutes away from the latest news around town and around the world.
You need to know what's going on.
News Radio 690 KTSM. News on the hour and the half. Traffic and weather all day. News Radio 690 is KTSM AM El Paso, an iHeart radio station.
NBC News Radio, I'm Brian Shook. Secretary of State Antony Blinken says 10 Americans are still unaccounted for since Hamas's surprise attacks on Israel 2 weeks ago. Blinken said some of the missing Americans are believed to be among the approximately 200 hostages being held by Hamas. He said President Biden prioritizes getting Americans released.
The President has made clear that he will do everything possible to secure the release of every hostage. During my own recent travel to the region, I emphasized the urgency and importance of this and pressed our partners to do everything they can.
2 American hostages, a mother and daughter from Chicago, were released earlier today. The House is in recess for the weekend and still without a speaker. Jim Jordan lost his third round of voting, and House Republicans voted by secret ballot to drop the Ohio congressman as their nominee. The House has been without a speaker for more than 2 weeks since the removal of Kevin McCarthy, who nominated Jordan in the lead-up to today's vote. United Auto Workers President Shawn Fain says the union is seeing progress from GM and Stellantis. He said in a Facebook Live update that there is more to be won. The strike against the automakers is on its 36th day. Fain's presentation comes on the heels of GM passing another offer to the UAW for a 23% general wage increase. Instead of participating in the third Republican presidential primary debate in downtown Miami, former President Donald Trump has made other plans. Lisa Taylor explains.
Trump will be rallying in the nearby city of Hialeah. His campaign announced Friday afternoon the Republican presidential frontrunner will hold an evening event at Ted Hendricks Stadium at Melander Park. He's expected to take the stage at 7 p.m. November 8th. I'm Lisa Taylor.
The Dow Jones Industrial Average fell by 286 points to 33,127. You're listening to the latest from NBC News Radio. Military obesity rates are on the rise, and it's creating problems in both recruiting and retention for the Defense Department. Erin Real reports.
Today, 68% of active duty service members are either overweight or obese, and eating disorders in the military increased by approximately 79%. This is according to a new report from the American Security Project. Although obesity in the U.S. and the military is not new, the rapid increase in the rate of overweight troops creates concerns over military readiness, and obesity is also a primary contributor to in-service injury and medical discharge. The findings are part of a broader national trend that has also shrunk the military's recruitment pool as the service struggles to find eligible applicants who meet the physical requirements for enlistment.
The number of Californians packing up and leaving the state for greener pastures continues to outpace newcomers. According to 2022 census data, more than 817,000 people moved to another state last year, while a little more than half that number of people moved into the Golden State. Texas was the number one destination. About 12% of those who moved sought lower taxes, more affordable housing, and an overall cheaper cost of living in the Lone Star State. Today is Chicken and Waffles Day. Bree Tennis has the details.
An American dish created by the Pennsylvania Dutch in the 1600s and made better with a touch of Southern soul. There's nothing good for you in it. It's carbs, sugar, deep-fried chicken. TasteWise Food Trend Agency says we're eating about 34% less chicken and waffles this year, but today we should strive for more.
The college football season is heating up as the temperature begins to cool. Third-ranked Ohio State is set to host number 6 Penn State in a Big Ten rivalry showdown in Columbus on Saturday. Both teams enter the game with unblemished 6-0 records. Brian Shook, NBC News Radio.
Now, your chance to win $1,000. Enter this nationwide keyword on our website. Money. That's money. Enter it now.
Now, you can relive the greatest moments from our 2023 iHeartRadio Music Festival.
Streaming only on Hulu.
Lenny Kravitz kicks things off with his biggest hits.
Foo Fighters get the whole crowd singing along.
Tim McGraw debuts his new song live.
Public Enemy brings the 90s hip-hop energy.
Fall Out Boy covers a classic while literally on fire. And so much more.
Relive the greatest moments from our iHeartRadio Music Festival.
Streaming now only on Hulu for a limited time.
This report is sponsored by Blindster.com.
Hi, I'm Kyle at Blindster.com. Shopping for new blinds? At Blindster, we offer over 50 different blinds, shades, and shutters at low prices, custom made for your windows, and shipping is free. Shop at home and order 10 free samples of any product before you buy. Blindster.com.
Keep your family and livelihood safe with a stable security system from Mazer Security Alarms. Your trusted El Paso security expert since 1982. You can get the best. Systems start at under $35 per month with upfront purchase to lease options and $0 down payment packages available. Get the peace of mind you deserve with Mazer Security Alarms. For your free quote or to upgrade your existing system, call Mazer Security Alarms at 915-590-0033. Mazer Security Alarms.
Is your old car really scary? Does it smell dreadful? And run awful?
Wake up! El Paso, the nightmare is over. Ivan Ochoa, General Manager of Sunland Park Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram Fiat. We'll take your scary old trade, even if you owe thousands more than what it's worth. So you can upgrade to a new or certified pre-owned vehicle for less.
Plus, during Ram Power Days, get 0% APR for 72 months on 2023 Ram 1500 Lone Star Bighorn Crew Cab trucks. 2023 Jeep Gladiator trucks and Jeep Grand Cherokee take 10% off MSRP and $3,500 off MSRP on 2023 Dodge Charger and Challenger. Worried that your credit will make your car buying scary? Sunland Park Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, Fiat has partnered with even more lenders that will push to approve your credit, even if your credit is less than perfect. Save thousands in only minutes at Sunland Park Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, Fiat, where buying a car is fun. At I-10 at Sunland Park Drive or online at sunlandparkdodge.com. $13.89 per thousand finance includes factory rebate and dealer discount plus TTNL on select vehicles with approved credit. Offers not combined.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Just go to hims.com/radio. Through HIMS, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the name brands at up to 95% off. That's right. Get generic for Viagra, the same active ingredient as brand name Viagra, but for 95% less. It's the same medication, still prescribed by a licensed medical provider, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/radio. That's hims.com/radio for your free online visit. HIMS.com/RADIO.
Why is iHeartRadio the #1 streaming radio app? Free music.
Free live radio stations from all over the country.
Free podcasts.
Free playlists.
Free contests. Free artist radio stations.
Commercial-free stations. It's free. I love iHeartRadio. Join the millions of music, radio, and podcast fans on the #1 streaming radio app now.
iHeartRadio.
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 Free never sounded so good.
News Radio 690 KTSM El Paso.
Live from the KTSM AM 690 studios, it's Talk El Paso with Andrew J. Polk. To be a part of the show, call 915-544-KTSM or follow on Facebook at facebook.com/Talk El Paso. Now here's your host, Andrew J. Polk.
Thank you all so very much for joining us here for Talk El Paso, airing live on News Radio 690 KTSM. I am your host, Andrew J. Polk. Thank you for tuning in, however you may be doing so, be it on air, online, live streaming through the free and reliable iHeartRadio app, or joining us over on the various social media pages, facebook.com/Talk El Paso, the Talk El Paso channel over on YouTube, Twitter at Talk El Paso, or twitch.tv, Andrew J. Polk. A lot of conversation, including about poker playing going on over there right now, which is interesting. But hey, it's Friday, y'all, and that means that, well, taking on all the comments, calls, everything we can squeeze into a couple hours of the show, like, yes, we're worried about Leonidas Bermuda making it there, but he's there now, but also others chiming in, including in response to previous commentary. Oh, there's one that I wanted to get to here. Oh, Garrett De Leon saying, been away for a while, first person to hear is Marco. I don't know who he is or what he's talking about or where he is going, but he has my votes. Okay, as long as you do find your way into a ballot box, and would encourage looking up and talking more about what the issues are, but I guess we all got to start somewhere, and other conversations going on, and also people chiming in like Amber Banda with the rock on. Do appreciate it. Those dropping those likes and reacts that we certainly do appreciate. Again, that's primarily over on the Facebook, but we do have Matt Olson, Amber Banda, James Holmes, RJ, Monica Cervantes, Robbie Flores, Ida Beza Gardner, and Eric McNabb. However, you can be a part of the show, choose to do so. That's the right place for you to be as we continue our mission to talk about the things going on and affecting us here in the borderland and beyond. And yes, poker was being discussed there in the comments here. And a question did come up about any language use here. Did not come through on this end, but let's just say in general, references to orifices should be avoided unless strictly medically necessary. In any cases, continuing on here, of course, the number to call is 915-544-5876, 544-KTSM. We do have Mike in the Northeast in the line with us here right now. Mike, thanks for joining us.
Hey, thank you for taking my call. I just, you know, I was going to comment about a story earlier on the weekend on FitFam, and I just feel like, you know, FitFam is a social media site that provides content, and then they let you decide whether you want to make assumptions or not. And I think they provide a good service. I think the media gets mad at them because they scoop the media quite regularly. And I mean, it's just one of those things, you know, newspapers were mad at the internet when the internet came out, you know, and when the printing press came out, I'm sure sheepskin scribes were also mad. It's just the evolution of media. And I think people need to relax and just, you know, take it for what it is. The other only quick thing that I wanted to comment on is, you know, this guy Marco, I enjoy listening to his calls because then later on in the evening I don't have to go and watch InfoWars and listen to Alex Jones say the same exact things that Marco said. So I just get them from Marco on my way home from work with his conspiracy theories. And I really think that, you know, I think Marco's got a little secret, and I think he should probably run for prom queen before he decides to run for mayor. Just my thoughts on that, though. But I want to thank you for giving me the time, and y'all have a good one.
Yeah, sure thing. Well, appreciate the point in the call. You have a good one there as well. All right. I mean, okay, in terms of popularity contests, and I guess that's a less generous way, that last comment there, the way I've put it, of that a lot of people, at least in our community, do seem to go straight to the top of the ballot, whether it be mayor, or be a congressperson, be a governor, or even president. So that may be the same person. In any case, the idea of building up to it, though that person I'm kind of referring to there kind of did that. But in any case, the idea of like actually starting building up here, I mean, it's a reasonable point to be made here. But in any case, entitled to your opinion on that. But we got more calls in line here right now, so let's delve back into those. We do have Eric on the east side here with us right now. Eric, thanks for joining us.
Hello there. Yeah, during Roll's call, he was pointing out that there's so much damning evidence publicly available of Trump's traitorous crimes that he was indicted for, and even more, in Trump's most inner of inner circles are testifying against him, like Sidney Powell. That was his right hand in his coup attempt. That if you think he's not in deep trouble, you're in Trump's delusional cult, or just your average traitorous conservative who refuses to look at the evidence of Trump's crimes. Your response to Roll's comment is you promoting your misinformed conservative understanding of Trump's historic impeachment. Fox News lied to you. Republicans in the Senate abandoned the Constitution, their oaths to office, and the truth by refusing to investigate and prosecute or look at the merits of Trump's crimes, the most egregious being his coup attempt. Like Republicans in the Senate and in Congress are literal traitors who put the Republican Party and power over the future of the country. And with that being said, I guess on a semi-separate note, a few weeks ago, before Republican precinct chair and Republican mayoral candidate Marco Contreras advocated for the mass murder of Democrats on your show, he called in and promoted the Great Replacement across the city on your show as well. And, just a reminder, the Great Replacement is the white supremacist theory that caused the right-wing terrorist attack on the Hispanic community here in our city by Patrick Crucius and many other right-wing terrorist attacks across the country. So, Marco did promote that white supremacist theory on your show, and you aggressively defended the promotion of both these heinous ideas on your show.
So it's an interesting way that you end up putting these things. Again, coming back to these, I guess they didn't actually bring up Star Wars this time. So I appreciate that, even if you did do it in apostrophe here. And to my recollection, what Marco has talked about with Great Replacement theory as being not in favor of it, and saying it's the Democrats actually ending up promoting it with divisive tactics and things like that. So calling you and not agreeing with you, let's make a distinction here between promoting things, because again, if we have it on air on this show, taking a caller from it, that kind of thing, if that counts as promotion, then that would mean that I would, in the same vein, be promoting what you're talking about. Do you find that to be the case of me necessarily promoting your standpoints, your viewpoints, etc.?
I said Marco promoted white supremacy and the mass murder of Democrats on your show.
No, I heard what you said. Now listen to what I'm saying is the point here of you say that I am promoting these things along with it. So by hearing from people and their viewpoints, do you necessarily take that and again apply this to yourself here as promotion of their viewpoints? Again, listen to the question I'm asking and respond to that one. Do you feel that I'm promoting yourself here on this?
You're aggressively defending Marco's promotion of white supremacy and terrorism on your show.
So I'll take that as a no, you don't feel that I'm promoting your viewpoint on it here. So going through then the logical steps in this whole situation, we hear from people and we then end up either debating and having people respond to it. And so, of course, you are welcome to respond to it. If you say that you don't like what he has having to say, hey, that's fine. You don't have to like what he has to say. But also, don't get it messed up here either that I have called, if I was to call you, I'm not going to, but just the worst name I could imagine and label you in this most heinous terms, that's kind of like me going and defecating in the middle of a room saying, hey, look, that's so awful, none of you can like this here. I mean, seriously, just labeling things as opposed to responding to like the logic behind them saying, well, this is the worst thing he's done, so what are you going to do about it? I mean, seriously, my dude. Okay, let's talk about it when it comes to, again, specifically as you referenced at the start, with the impeachments here, it seems to be that you continue to have a misunderstanding of what that process even entails, because it was not a legal proceeding. I mean, it has the trappings of it. We're talking about judges, hearings, jury, all those kind of things, but it's inherently a political process. So you may not like the way that those in the Senate at the time ended up handling it. You don't have to. I am not saying that you have to be like, no, that you know was perfectly fine and right, but misunderstanding how it works is a detriment to yourself, frankly, more than just about anything else, though everyone else having to hear it is not exactly having a good time with it either. But the point is that impeachment is inherently a political process, and the Democrats at that point in time, in their control of the House, may have felt bound to determine the very least leadership, Nancy Pelosi at the time, saying that, hey, we have to do this here in her position as Speaker of the House. But without any understanding of that, that had very slim chances with the political realities of the time of actually going through, then makes it a political stunt there as opposed to any action coming along with it. Now, again, anything going on with these cases that the former president is having to go through and is facing here, yeah, they are pretty serious. No one is particularly disagreeing with that. And I would argue at this point in time, as I have previously, if you've been paying attention, that I know some have out there been calling for, just dismiss it all because it's all insert adjective unfavorable to those situations here. But these are serious enough things that even just a hand waving done away with it, I think would also be a disservice to this country at this point in time. They need to be seen through and have the full day in court. I mean, there's a reason we use the day in court part of this as opposed to the other parts of it. What I get here is more than a little bit of a frustration coming from you, Eric, and so you can call me a straw man all that you want here, but this is my interpretation and my what I'm kind of getting back from you here about a frustration about not being able to just wail on anyone that you want to because you want to. So when it comes to that, I mean, if you've got like a, hey, here's why this reasoning is bad, wrong, why I disagree with it, that's fine. But when you just label people, and particularly in the, well, depending on how you consider it, because you also do post in the comments, the libel or slander part of it, if you think that this show is going to be the format for this here, and yeah, I guess, you like using labels for people because it gives you a sense of power. Again, my interpretation of this, you haven't said it exactly because I'm not quoting you here in this. This is us discussing and why seemingly people have issues with the way you talk about it, because there are other people on this program who call in with many different viewpoints, many different disagreements with it. But when it comes down to hey, this person cannot be allowed to say something or anywhere approaching that kind of a logic that comes along with it, shorthand for you here, no. That's not how this works, because we are talking about the important issues and we have people that bring up their opinions. And again, you are free to disagree with them. But if you're basically going to be coming around here, because when you talk about and start labeling people like that, are you telling me that you're not coming up with anything that is getting close to these people should not be allowed to say, speak here, be part of that? I mean, deplatforming is pretty part and parcel with the way this usually gets talked about. So if that's not where you're coming at to, color me surprised. But in the meantime, if you think that this is going to be the forum to be able to, again, libel or slander people, again, shorthand for that, just write this down in as big a type as you need to, no. In any case, we're going to take that next break right now. Appreciate the point in the call for what it's worth here. We'll take the next tantrum next week, as we do every Monday through Friday, 4 to 6 p.m. But in the meantime, we're going to take that next break right now. If you want to get on that line, that number to do so is 915-544-5876, 915-544-KTSM. Back after this break with more Talk El Paso here on News Radio 690 KTSM. Stay tuned.
News Radio 690. Traffic all day.
I-10 westbound of the Patriot, the left transition ramp to the 110 south is blocked due to heavy congestion. An accident reported Donovan Drive at Country Club. An earlier crash on Gateway North at McCombs is off to the right. And northbound on Loop 375 in the East Valley, I-10 to Montana, that's a 14-minute delay. Kerry Edwards, El Paso traffic.
These days, high prices are forcing Americans to make hard decisions.
Do I buy the toothpaste or the toilet paper?
We have a better way. Inflation compensation. $1,000 price bust and prize. Be listening for your shot to win a grand.
Inflation compensation on News Radio 690 AM is brought to you by Mazer Security Systems, providing El Pasoans state-of-the-art protection and peace of mind for more than 30 years.
This report is sponsored by Blindster.com.
Hi, I'm Kyle at Blindster.com. If you're like many people, you may think custom blinds is a job for expensive professionals. Well, at Blindster, if you have a tape measure and a screwdriver, you can install our custom blinds and save big. Plus, we guarantee they'll fit. Blindster.com.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Jesse Kelly here. Do you feel protected? My personal protection plan is owning gold. The Oxford Gold Group helps you buy gold to have on hand or convert it into your 401k. If things get weird, I have gold on hand. I like that. You can buy coins or convert part of your 401k with the Oxford Gold Group. It's easy and safe. 833-995-GOLD. That's 833-995-GOLD. 833-995-GOLD.
Jim Gaffigan here with some more Straight Talk. Now you can get a Walmart Plus membership, plus not pay for it, because it's included with Straight Talk wireless plans. You get free delivery with Walmart Plus a Paramount Plus subscription included. Plus, you pay less for gas. That's a lot of pluses.
Only Straight Talk gives you unlimited 5G data and Walmart Plus included on select plans for free.
Straight Talk Wireless, available at Walmart.
Requires service on Gold or Platinum Unlimited. One offer per eligible account. Paramount Plus Essential Plan only. Separate registration required. Additional terms apply.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
El Paso's News Radio 690 KTSM.
Live from the KTSM AM 690 studios, it's Talk El Paso with Andrew J. Polk. To be a part of the show, call 915-544-KTSM or follow on Facebook at facebook.com/Talk El Paso. Now here's your host, Andrew J. Polk.
Thank you all so very much for joining us here for Talk El Paso, airing live on News Radio 690 KTSM. I'm your host, Andrew J. Polk. Thank you for tuning in, however you may be doing so, be it on air, online, live streaming through the free and reliable iHeartRadio app, or joining us over on the various social media pages. We're up on these days, facebook.com/Talk El Paso, the Talk El Paso channel over on YouTube, Twitter at Talk El Paso, or twitch.tv, Andrew J. Polk. A lot of people tuning in, joining in over there on the various mediums, and of course those phone lines full up at the moment, but keep the number handy as we'll squeeze in what we can before the end of the program here in the second hour. 915-544-5876, 544-KTSM, and a lot of different commentary going on in many different places. At least one note here, there's at least one that I thought was going to be a good one here, but again, some of just the conversations going on there, including yes, some aliens are being referenced, but other things including, again, Afghanistan, administrations past and current, the concept of the traitor, as well as, just a lot of responses. A couple of notes I did end up wanting to make when it came to a couple of statements coming out. Actually, a couple from our news partners at KFOX 14A, they got an interview with the new chief of police, now permanent chief of police, Peter Pasillas, and his many focuses coming into the office, though there is another interesting one, actually, a joint statement being released, article title anyway, El Paso Jewish and Muslim leaders unite to address Middle East conflict with statement, and it is available over on their page. A joint statement by Rabbi Ben Ziedman of Temple Mount Sinai and Omar Hernandez of the Islamic Center of El Paso. That is an interesting thing to look at here, released as of yesterday, but out today now, talking about the remarkable community here and the pain being caused by the overall situation happening in the Middle East. Anyway, a lot of conversation going on here, including people being concerned about being referred to as communists. Okay. I mean, if you're putting out your standpoints and people are describing them for you here, I guess that's one thing. But if you're wanting to say that someone is specifically supporting genocide, maybe you could understand why that reaches a different level. It's not a, hey, someone called me a name and I don't like it. No, it's about, is this something an implication of specifically your content character? Again, looking up what libel and slander actually is a good standpoint to at least start with a conversation. Anyway, let's go back to those phone lines here right now. We do have callers in the line here. We do have Roberto on the Far East side on right now with us. Roberto, thanks for joining us.
Yes, all that war, death, destruction in the Middle East and Ukraine right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be here in the United States of America when those mega lunatics get their stolen election civil war. And it already started. They already killed a little 6-year-old little boy. Thank you for letting me express my comment.
Yeah, sure thing. Thank you for the point in the call. You have a good one there. All right. I guess a concern about that. And let me just say this when it comes to the idea of, I know that there has been essentially concern. One of the biggest topics I've seen percolating on Twitter, among other things, when it comes to the situation in the Middle East of could this spawn World War III, among other things, but also the idea of just expanding conflict in general or being brought here is not what I'm in favor of. But when it comes to the idea, again, of political violence, anyone thinking that there is no political solution is someone that is not going to be receiving my support, and I will continually disagree with, if not more strongly so, depending on the circumstances. Anyway, a couple of the calls here we'll squeeze on. I think we have time for more in this segment here. We do have a Raul calling in from the Northeast, a different Raul from the Northeast. So, Raul, thanks for joining us.
Hey, what's up, man? I just wanted to make a comment.
Mm-hmm.
Like, presidents come and go, but, like, the one constant is these idiots like Raul from the other Raul and, like, Marcos and these guys that want to code 69 each other or whatever they're talking about. Like, they're the only constant, bro. Like, Trump is gone. This guy's breath still smells like Trump's testes. The other guy's breath is going to smell like Joe Biden's testes until the end of time. And, like, they're the only ones, bro. They're the only ones that are constants. Like, everyone else is gone. Bush is gone. Obama's gone. Like, but these idiots right here, bro, they're the ones who are the true problem. They keep voting, and every time they're like, oh, well, next time, and they jump on the sack of their team, bro. Like, it's like, oh, the Democrat, oh yeah, he's gonna be our oh, the Republican, oh, he's gonna be our savior. And then meanwhile, like, the rest of us are suffering, bro. You guys are over here voting us into tyranny, taking our rights, taxing us to death, bro. And you guys are the only constants, bro. Trump is gone. Like, Biden will be gone. If not in 2024, he'll be gone in 2028. And you idiots are going to still be there in 2024, still going to be there in 2028, still going to be there in 2032, voting to jack up my life, ruin my life, ruin everyone's life, bro. And, like, for real, honestly, it's like I bet there's a lot more people like me who aren't left-wing or who aren't right-wing. And really, bro, when the day comes, you guys are going to be dog food, bro. Like, I'm not calling for violence. Like, you guys are the ones code 69ing each other or whatever. But, like, that's a realistic what's going to happen, bro. Like, whenever a revolution happens, yeah, we don't get the Rothschilds, we don't get the Rockefellers, but, like, the people like Raul's and the people like the Marcos, bro, they're the ones that are going to get got. Like, and I'm not making a call to violence on anybody, but this is an actual fact, bro. Like, people are tired, and then, like I said, these guys are the constant, bro. Like, Trump is gone, and this guy can't get Trump's name out his mouth. Like, bro, it's over. Trump's gone, bro. Move on. Like, our problem now is Joe Biden, but no, you, like, over there still savoring his testes. And then, like, bro, the rest of us is hurting, dog. The rest of us is hurting. And, like, really, you guys are like, you guys are pushing buttons, dog, on like, regular Americans. Because, I take polls. I take polls for a living, bro. And, like, people don't care. People don't care. Like, people are tired. People are taxed to death. And, man, it's going to be horrible for you guys. And you guys can't even fight your ways out of a wet paper bag, bro. And, like, you got angry Americans, like, way angrier than me, bro. Way angrier than me. And, like, they're taking lists, bro, of the highest tree in your neighborhood. And then, like, we're making lists of how high on that tree you got to hang, dog. And that's, like, the real truth. And, like I said, I ain't calling for violence.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, they're pushing people, both sides. Like, really, honestly, me, I don't give a dang if the government shuts down, bro. Like, I don't get nothing. Like, they pose a more serious threat to me than they even help me. They don't help me at all. Like, I don't care if the government shuts down. Shut it down. I don't get food stamps. I don't get Social Security. All I do is pay taxes, bro. So, like, Like, you guys are the only idiots that care, and the rest of us is really hurting, and the rest of us is really planning on not hurting one day. You know what I'm saying? And that's it, bro. That's it. That's all I had to say.
All right, well, thank you for the point in the call. You have a good one there.
Thank you, sir. Goodbye.
I'll say this, that I do get, there's an adage out there that those on the fringes are the loudest, and I'm not going to say that that necessarily does or doesn't pan out. I don't take stats on those kind of things or try to get everyone's exact affiliations, because I think a lot more people find themselves agreeing with certain people on certain things and certain people on other things. Because, I mean, and sure, there are single issue voters out there, and people think, okay, if someone supports this, I'm for them. If they don't, I'm not for them, in that kind of way. But I do get a sense out there. It's a little bit harder to kind of pin down because, well, they're not necessarily people donating to campaigns, donating to political movements, PACs, what have you, of a, man, I'm not really the whole lesser of two evils, or two weevils, if you want to go about it that way, kind of thinking about, like, why is that the calculation we have to do? Why do we have to choose between the lesser of, why can't we have something like good, useful, and a part of it? And parliamentary elections actually came up a little bit earlier. I forget who mentioned that one. But there's an argument to be made that might actually be a way to see that be done. But there's no reasonable way that could ever be implemented within the United States anyway, without, you want to talk about constitutional crises, the way that they have come up. This would be something on the order of, beyond even the upheavals that came after the Civil War, to be perfectly honest with you. I mean, that was a couple of amendments, if you want to get, honestly, 13th, 14th, arguably 15th, and those with that. But we'd be talking about Article 1, Section 1, things being changed to see that effectuate and that happen. But I got to say, it's something along that kind of sentiment of just being fed up, if you want to take it this way, I got the quotation out of my head here, I'm mad as hell and I'm not going to take it anymore, that kind of way, from, what was that, the movie Network? And so the idea of that, of people just being fed up, honestly, the way I have talked about elections here in El Paso, to kind of bring it home for a second, and of people being disconnected from it here, I don't think that, say in this most recent election, that 95% of the people who were eligible to vote were completely ignorant of the circumstances, that there was an election, or that it might have some importance. But I think, and this again gets hard to actually figure out, because it's not an easy thing to poll for, let's put it that way, is of just being fed up with it. And I wonder, and again, it'll be very hard to prove out how much of it that is, either in our region in particular, because we do have very bad voter turnout rates, but also just kind of in general, people being like, okay, what's even the point? I mean, sure, I think there's still some disconnect there of not getting necessarily the, connecting the dots between the voting booth and the taxes and other policies we end up dealing with and living with. But I do think a lot of people thinking like, end up coming down to, what difference does it make who ends up going in there? And that's its own problem and scope that, I mean, sure, getting people out to the voting booth, I still firmly support as a part of that, because right now, at the very least in our area, we don't have a lot of people holding elected officials accountable. It ends up being everything sucks, that kind of reasoning. And I do reject the black pill when it comes to that. The idea of nothing can be done, everything sucks, so why even bother? The nihilistic part of this here just does not ring true with me. But how to deal with that and get people who are maybe finding themselves in that circumstance thinking that way of anything besides essentially sounding kind of like, and I get that the caller was saying not calling for violence, but I do have to say that a certain amount of reasoning and the ideas being talked about comes down to, sounding similar to like a Night of the Long Knives kind of thing here, is not anything I'm ever going to support, because I do have to put it this way, that for anyone who thinks that, man, things suck and we just need to reset it and deal with it, bring that energy now. Because if you're thinking that, well, we'll just wipe the slate clean and we'll start over and it'll be fine that way, oh boy, is that not how it works. Look at any other circumstance that has ever existed in the world where there has been a major upheaval of political power, political systems even, and it has never, that I can think of. If there is an example, I would love to know about it, actually, and study it in depth, of it being hey, we fixed everything, it's fine now, everyone go back to, what is it, the Who song, Meet the New Boss, same as the old boss, and also the whole extremist thing, those willing to go further, and even beyond the conscience of those before can often find themselves in power. again, revolutions in general comes to mind here. I mean, sure, the American Revolution was one thing, but you think about, and that may or may not be an example, but that was a whole lot of people deciding, like, I just want to be left alone. And even then, it hasn't necessarily worked out in that vein, the way that then the Articles of Confederation got removed. But look at, like, the French Revolution, the Russian Revolution. The people who were the most cuckoo ended up being in charge of that here. So, just saying, if you think things, okay, to quote Casey Kasem back in the day, if you think things could be better, register to vote right now. But in any case, I think we're time. Okay, we'll squeeze in one more call for this segment right now because I did promise to do so. We do have Frankie and Messia on the line with us here right now. Frankie, thanks for joining us. Frankie, do we got you there still?
Hello? Hello?
Frankie, yes.
Oh, there you are. Oh,
there we are.
Goodness, I can't get over it. All right, listen. While I'm listening to you, I'm trying to figure out the most appropriate word to describe what's going on currently in the United States of America. And the only word I can come up with is obscene. Okay, obscene. This is ridiculous. Now, let me just say something. Back November 1863, this great guy, President Lincoln, took a trip from Washington to Gettysburg to dedicate the battleground in Gettysburg, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he put together the most magnificent speech, 236 words. I read it every once in a while. I mean, it's so inspiring. The 20 years ago, ending in shall never perish from this earth. That's the opening ending thing. All right. Number two. Right. I want all you people out there to remember something like this. The Southwest border and you. Right. The point here we got a few years before. Benjamin Franklin coming out of Constitutional Hall after they adopted the Constitution, and some gal bumps into him and says, well, what happened in here? Madam, we have a government if you can keep it.
True enough.
Think about those words. Think about that, everybody out there. And what we got going on right now here is like self-destruction, for crying out loud. And that's my opening comment.
Yeah, I mean, that was, Ben Franklin. What do we have coming out of the Constitutional Convention? A republic, if you can keep it. And that is, and continues to be, the biggest bugaboo about the whole situation, is that a republic does not rely on any, higher office, higher organization, no king, monarch, emperor, anyone else to be able to maintain it. It takes the people in their entirety. And that's why, among other things, public education and the idea of having an educated populace was central to the idea of that, because if you got a bunch of ignorant people, or another way that it has been put, that the American, I'm forgetting the quotation on this one, but that the American Republic will endure as long as people can't be bribed with their own money, is a bad paraphrasing of it. I'll look at that quote here in just a minute. But it does take people knowing not even just how things work, but having access to those mechanisms. And so understanding, like having government and taught in schools, is an incredibly important aspect of this here. Because if people don't know how amendments work, how voting works, how, say, impeachment works, then we are much to our own detriment, because it's like no longer knowing how to drive the car that we are riding in.
Well, I get you on that. But let me just say this. Everybody out there in the Southwest border region and the rest of the United States and everybody else, this is our country. Where we are today, you ruined this thing. There's no other country that is going to accept us. I don't care if it's one country or multiple of countries. And I go back again to the great words of Abraham Lincoln. It just brings tears to my eyes that he could, a human such as he, could craft such language of some import. It just blows my mind. And everybody out there just go willy-nilly, the chickens, the sky is falling, or whatever you want to call it. This is so stupid. And I told you this once before. You cannot, I know at least I talked to you about this 11 times before. You cannot operate a republic, a democracy such as we have, if the majority of the electorate is stupid. And that's what we've got today, is stupid people. And that's my before-ending comment.
I understand that. I mean, Ignorance has always been an issue. Another quotation that comes to mind from Isaac Asimov along the idea that we have issues when people start thinking my ignorance is as good as your knowledge and study of the issues. Because, I mean, okay, IQ points are not what end up determining the success or not of an endeavor. Often it ends up being hard work more than anything. You have to have someone with two brain cells to rub together in order to make something at least start up here. But it comes from, again, ignorance is the bigger issue in my mind, of people not knowing, not understanding, and not having the ability to, again, access those mechanisms of control that you start really, I mean, you look at cultures throughout world history, and when people start losing access either through, more broadly, we're talking about huge sociological changes, like losing access to some of the important documents or important foundational cultural documents. That's when people start losing their identity and start drifting apart. A little bit different from government, but still I would call that even more important for people to both understand and have access to, again, those mechanisms.
Wait a minute, did I hear a comment that somebody just chimed in and said, my ignorance is secondary to my intellect, or something like that, however that was phrased? Did I hear that correctly?
It's me paraphrasing Isaac Asimov here. So, okay, basically it was me paraphrasing what he said is that there's a cult of ignorance in the United States, and there always has been. The strain of anti-intellectualism has been a constant thread winding its way through our political and cultural life, nurtured by the false notion, and here's the part I paraphrase, that democracy means my ignorance is just as good as your knowledge.
That is the most upset nonsense. That is so far off the... Oh, my God. He said that?
Well, again, he was not in favor of that being the case here, but more commenting on that it seems to be, again, a thread throughout the history of the United States in his estimation.
All right. Well, we'll end that on Friday. But do I have an opportunity to present tidbit?
Briefly, if you can.
Okay. Now, I want everybody out there in the Southwest border region to recognize something, that we, the humans, go out with all this modern technology, driving down roads, motoring your bicycle in your car, and everything else under the Sunday, and you have a lot of accidents. You T-bone people, you smash into them. I want all you Southwest border people to take a trip, got nothing better to do, and go out to East El Paso or North El Paso and find a piece of desert and find an ant pile. And you watch ants, 100,000, 200, 300,000 ants going this way, that way, and they never have an accident. Now, what do you think of them apples?
I think that we're talking about some different velocities here, among other things, and also the ants in this case. I mean, they do bump into each other, but they're not doing it fast enough in the whole exoskeleton situation. They're not maneuvering a bit of machinery that is beyond what their evolutionary capacity has given them. Let's put it that way.
Oh, please, Andrew. I'm giving a comparison here. You're talking ants. Ants, plain ordinary insect ants that supposedly have less brain power than a human, and they allow themselves, their society, if you will, to go through without crashing into people. That's my point.
Well, again, they're not hurtling at speeds far greater than what their own legs will get them. But, I mean, people still need to, I mean, I've managed to live most of my life, knock on wood, without having anything that I was not at fault for anyway. But it's often the people around you got to watch. There's a whole defensive driving thing that are knowing what's going on around you more than just what you're doing is the kind of critical component of it here. I'm not saying I'm in favor of self-driving cars, but I am very curious to know what that might do to the rates if they can get the tech figured out, that is.
Well, I tell you what, we can bang this around a couple of different ways this Sunday. But I want to tell you, you're great. You are so great. You are the best. Listen, I used to call Rash Lump Blob short-headed Spatty, and then a nut job, that beady-eyed, bald-headed jerk, what's his name, Muck Looney Bin. You are the best. You are the best radio guy host ever. That's all I want to say. Have a good weekend.
Well, I appreciate the vote of confidence, and you have a good one there as well.
Okay, take care, Andrew.
And with that, we do have to take that next break right now. Coming out of this break, we'll squeeze in, if we can, a call on the line here. Okay, we had some drop off here, so there's a line available if you want to squeeze on. But in the meantime, I'll also tell you what we got coming up for you on the program. So stay tuned. More Talk El Paso after this break. Again, that number to do so, 915-544-5876, 544-KTSM. Back after this break with more Talk El Paso here on News Radio 690 KTSM. Stay tuned.
Paso's News Radio 690 KTSM.
With your KFOX 14 News Update, I'm Liz Dewicki. After about 3 hours of jury deliberations, the man accused of killing an El Paso attorney has been found guilty. The El Paso Times reporting Joseph Alvarez was convicted this afternoon of murder and aggravated assault in the 2020 shooting of Georgette Kaufman outside her home. He's also accused of hurting her husband during that incident. Throughout the trial, state prosecutors claim that Alvarez targeted the couple because of his radicalized beliefs. However, Alvarez's defense said he suffers from a mental illness that led to the incident. He's facing up to 99 years in prison. Some lanes are now open on I-10 East and West at Trans Mountain after a serious crash Thursday afternoon. Trans Mountain is open and North Desert Boulevard is also open. The crash involving 2 semi-trucks and several other vehicles. Officials saying 2 people were taken to the hospital, one with serious injuries and the other with minor injuries. The semi-trucks were removed Friday morning. KFOX 14 looking for answers right now after a local bridal shop suddenly closed without getting customers the dresses that they already paid money for. Posh Bridal, located at the Fountains of Farah, has a sign on the front door from the landlord stating that rent was not paid. KFOX also spoke to the Better Business Bureau of El Paso, confirming 5 complaints have been filed so far against the shop. The BBB recommends filing a police report as well as an incident report with the Texas Attorney General's office and the El Paso County Attorney's office. Posh Bridal's sister store in Phoenix, Arizona, has also reportedly shut its doors. With your KFOX 14 News Update, I'm Liz Dewicki.
Traffic all day. News Radio 690.
No crashes on your borderland freeways. I-10 eastbound's got some slowing. 5-minute delays from Trans Mountain over to the Patriot. I-10 westbound to the 54 Patriot. The left transition ramp to the 110 South is blocked for heavy congestion. An accident northbound Mesa at Mesa Hills. All lanes back open on I-10 east and westbound from yesterday's accident at Trans Mountain. Kerry Edwards, El Paso traffic.
From the KFOX 14 Severe Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Brad Montgomery. We're going to see lots of cloud cover for your Saturday, so mostly cloudy. That from Hurricane Norma down to our south, but we're not going to see any chances for showers for the weekend. High around 89 for tomorrow, about 87 on Sunday. Then the bigger changes start to come in. 10% chance of a shower, 86 for our Monday. High around 80 on Tuesday with a 40% chance of showers and storms. From the KFOX 14 Severe Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Brad Montgomery.
This report is sponsored by Blindster.com.
Hi, I'm Kyle at Blindster.com. Since 2010, Blindster has sold millions of custom blinds, shades, and shutters to satisfied customers across the country with 20,000 5-star reviews and an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau. Custom blinds at low prices and free shipping. Blindster.com.
Is your old car really scary? Does it smell dreadful? And run awful?
Wake up! El Paso, the nightmare is over. Ivan Ochoa, General Manager of Sunland Park, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, Fiat. We'll take your scary old trade, even if you owe thousands more than what it's worth. So you can upgrade to a new or certified pre-owned vehicle for less.
Plus, during Ram Power Days, get 0% APR for 72 months on 2023 Ram 1500 Lone Star Bighorn Crew Cab trucks. 2023 Jeep Gladiator trucks and Jeep Grand Cherokee take 10% off MSRP and $3,500 off MSRP on 2023 Dodge Charger and Challenger. Worried that your credit will make your car buying scary? Sunland Park Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, Fiat has partnered with even more lenders that will push to approve your credit, even if your credit is less than perfect. Save thousands in only minutes at Sunland Park Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, Fiat, where buying a car is fun. At I-10 at Sunland Park Drive or online at sunlandparkdodge.com. $13.89 per thousand finance includes factory rebate and dealer discount plus TTNL on select vehicles with approved credit. Offers not combined.
Keep your family and livelihood safe with Mazer Security Alarms. Systems start at under $35 per month. No job is too small or too large. For your free quote or to upgrade your existing system, call Mazer Security Alarms at 915-590-0033.
Hi, I'm Kyle at Blindster.com. Shopping for new blinds? At Blindster, we offer over 50 different blinds, shades, and shutters at low prices, custom made for your windows, and shipping is free. Shop at home and order 10 free samples of any product before you buy. Blindster.com.
This report is sponsored by Blindster.com. This report is sponsored by Blindster.com.
Hi, I'm Kyle at Blindster.com. Since 2010, Blindster has sold millions of custom blinds, shades, and shutters to satisfied customers across the country with 20,000 5-star reviews and an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau. Custom blinds at low prices and free shipping. Blindster.com.
Hammer and Nails, El Paso's newest men's grooming destination with your comfort and privacy in mind, and where your favorite brew, spirit, or mixed drink will be waiting for you along with every cut, shave, manicure, or pedicure visit. Open daily at the fountains at Farrah, Hammer and Nails offers world-class luxury experiences without the pretentious price tag. Visit Hammer and Nails Grooming Shop for Guys online at hammerandnailsgrooming.com to book your next experience. That's hammerandnailsgrooming.com. The El Paso Community Foundation supports the causes you feel passionate about here in the borderland, whether it's education, social services, arts and culture, the environment, health, or economic development. The El Paso Community Foundation has been promoting philanthropy and progress in our hometown region for more than 45 years. Make your mark with us. Start a fund today. For good, for El Paso, forever. Learn more at epcf.org. That's epcf.org.
Did you know that only 2 in 10 El Paso County students graduate with a bachelor's degree? By supporting Border Youth Athletic Association's mission of educational attainment, you will create a long-lasting impact in our students' lives. Your monthly donation enables 4th through 12th grade students access to after-school programs, providing a safe and healthy environment. BYAA engages and empowers El Paso's future through mentorship and leadership development. We believe every player who gets an education wins. Do you? Go to borderyouth.org and show your support for our youth today.
Life's too short to just live in pain. Visit the Good Feed store today and see how we can help.
News Radio 690 KTSM El Paso.
Mazer Security Alarms, providing safety, security, and peace of mind in the Borderland region for more than 40 years, and even in our offices these days. That's why if you've got any place that a little bit more of any parts of that, whether it be the safety, security, or peace of mind, with a stable security system from Mazer Security Alarms might be your best option. A trusted El Paso security experts with licensed and experienced install tech since 1982. You can afford the best. No job is too large or too small. Give them a call at 915-590-0033. That's 915-590-0033. Mazer Security Alarms.
Live from the KTSM AM 690 studios, it's Talk El Paso with Andrew J. Polk. To be a part of the show, follow on Facebook at facebook.com/Talk El Paso. Now here's your host, Andrew J. Polk.
Thank you all so very much for having joined us here for Talk El Paso, airing live on News Radio 690 KTSM. I've been your host, Andrew J. Polk. We're Talk El Paso, brought to you in part by Sunland Park Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram Fiat. Find them 950 Crockett Street, right across I-10 from formerly Sunland Park Mall, but shops at Solana, becoming these days. But again, Sunland Park Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram Fiat. So I'll take a minute here to tell you what's coming up for you on the program. Again, more interviews, and we got some roadway questions we're going to try to get into for you in the coming weeks as well, and those elections, primaries coming up primarily, but of course intervening in that in the city of El Paso elections. Yeah, we got that district number 2 coming up. So there's more to get into there as we look towards that and the special election for there. So at least a couple on the ballots, or expected to be on the ballots, with Veronica Carvajal and Josh Acevedo currently with the applications filed, but we'll see how that one works out. Anyway, we're going to try to squeeze, because of the patient waiting here, at least one more call on the line here right now. We can squeeze in. So we do have Ben on the east side here with us right now. Ben, we got a couple of minutes.
Yeah, I was going to make another point, but basically there's another time I have to get rid of your American flags. If you're really upset about what's going on and everything, buy a Betsy Ross flag. Get back to the tenets of our founding fathers, the Constitution, Declaration of Independence, the Bill of Rights. The people that are angry right now are right. Our system is not working. It's falling apart. We need to get back to our basic principles.
We talked about that a couple
times. Flag.
Right, yeah, the one with the circle of stars, right?
Yes, Andrew.
Gotcha.
Circle of stars.
I appreciate it. Well,
stay well, stay safe. God bless, and let's go, Brandon.
All right, well, appreciate the point in the call. You have a good one there.
Circle of stars, yeah. Okay.
Just they're easily identified for people if they're not quite sure what Betsy Ross entails here. Again, as the Constitutional Congress put at the time, a new constellation forming in the sky here. So, hey, that's a pretty easy way to describe it. In any case here, we have covered a lot of ground here today because this has been Free for All Friday. I guess I just want to add this last note here that we go into a lot of subjects here, and people may get divisive and have certainly a lot of different ideas about how things can, should, or might be working here. The purpose of this program, the way I've tried to envision it since the beginning of it, is to try to get people hopefully engaged, involved, or at least talking about these issues, because if we're not discussing things and people are only in their silos, in their echo chambers, I don't think that has worked out particularly well for anyone involved, be it this country, be it society as a whole, be it the global conversation. But in any case, if you want to talk about things, we're going to be here every Monday through Friday, 4 to 6 p.m. to discuss the issues. If these turn into primarily ad hominem attacks, let's just make that pretty clear. If it's only that, hey, these people are bad or suck, or interject your own thing here, just think about what that says about the argument being made. Because there is a phrase back from my speech and debate days of silence is compliance. I'm not accusing anyone who is called in here of being silent or that everyone has to call in. We have the majority of the audience is content to sit back and, as someone put it here a minute ago, thank you for an entertaining afternoon from Ronaldo Rivera. And there is an aspect of that of course, we have going on here. We are a radio show and people can just tune in. But when you're referring to the issues, just think about what you're bringing to the table, so to speak, that way. Because if you're not actually bringing an argument, just saying, well, this person sucks, again, that would be an ad hominem, and all you're doing is saying that I have nothing to say against the actual argument, the thing they're putting forth, we just shouldn't believe that argument because they're a bad person and I have labeled them as such here. And that means that you're not actually addressing the argument and therefore kind of saying, but I don't have anything to say against their actual policy or plan, therefore you should just accept them. Just keep that in mind here as we go forth and try to continue this whole experiment known as the United States of America. Anyway, a couple things coming up for you also this weekend. Be sure to tune into the El Paso History Radio Show airing this weekend on News Radio 690 KTSM. Going to be talking about quite a lot of things, including some upcoming events at Concordia Cemetery and hopefully more about the Dia de la Hispanidad and the Paella Festival they're going to be having. So leave it there for today because we are out of time here for this program. I do want to thank everyone that did tune in, call in, comment, participate in the show. We'll do it again tomorrow. We'll do it again tomorrow on the El Paso History Radio Show, but also, of course, on Monday, as we do every Monday through Friday, 4 to 6 p.m., right here on News Radio 690 KTSM. So until then, until next time, want you all to stay safe out there, look twice for motorcycles when out on the road, and have a great evening, y'all. We'll see you next time.